Alrighty, good evening, everyone. We got ourselves a line of thunderstorms that are moving through. Just wanted to pop on here and provide some updates here as we go along here for at least the next few minutes. We did have a severe thunderstorm warning that was issued for Jackson County because of a report of a 58-mile-an-hour wind gust and some damage in the Scottsboro area. But that warning is just about to expire here in just a few minutes. So again, I'm gonna let everybody get on here real quick and we'll start tracking from there. Let me know where you're watching from, wherever that may be, and I will get there in just a second here. So let me share this out to a couple of pages and I'll be right there. Yeah, also, let me know where you're watching from and all that while I get this set up. Alrighty, let's get right down to business here since I got all that set up. Again, this we got a couple of advisories here to note of. We still got a significant weather advisory in northeast Alabama for Jackson and DeKalb County. That's going to run in effect here. That actually expires just now. But we have a new one that was recently added. This is for Dade, Walker, and Chattooga counties. This is going to run in effect for the next 30 minutes for up to 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Another recent one that was issued for southeastern Marion County and into the southwest half of Hamilton County, including Chattanooga. This is a significant weather advisory as well that runs in effect until the next 30 minutes also. So again, that's 11:15 p.m. Central Time, 12:15 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, there's nothing to worry about still. I want to stress that point. We just had a flare up, I do believe, down there in the Scottsboro area earlier. As that line was coming up through northeast Alabama, the line strengthened up a little bit and it got to the point where it was enough to reach severe levels and cause some power lines. I've been getting reports of power outages in that area. So that explains why a good portion of the reason why that Jackson and DeKalb were put under that warning about almost an hour ago. So that just kind of explains it. But ever since though, since we're past the expiration time, that has been canceled. But again, we'll track this as long as these advisories are in effect. And as I say, hopefully we won't have to worry about it anymore here after a little bit. But as far as the severe threat's concerned, I'm not really too concerned about it. But I'm just going live here to put some minds at ease here as we go into the nighttime. So we got some heavy rain here moving across Jackson County, so Stevenson, Bridgeport, South Pitt, New Hope, up through the I-24 corridor here. So Martin Springs area, you're getting some good rain. And then right in here where you see this bowing out a little bit here, just between Trenton and Wildwood there near the 59 split and up towards Nickajack Lake, that's an area where there could be some strong gusty winds that could be upwards of 40 to 50 miles an hour. And as you see in these blue polygons here, these are the special weather statements slash significant weather advisory. And the new one was just posted for parts of Dade, Walker, and northwestern Catoosa County. So it's pretty much an extension time for the one that was already in effect earlier that expired. So again, those of you up on top of Lookout there around Wildwood and Hooker, down towards West Brow, Morganville, and up Etna Mountain there to Haletown, this is where the heaviest of this heavy thunderstorm activity is. Got a pretty good cell here moving over just east of downtown South Pitt, so basically from the Blue Bridge all the way into New Hope. Again, that's a pretty good downpour, but nothing severe. Jasper, the rain is starting to pick up where you are. A little squatchy. The rain's going to be picking up there in a little bit. And then up here to the north, so I don't forget anybody else, we got a quick little downpour passing between Monteagle and Swanee. Got another quick downpour moving towards Altamont there in Grundy County. And then some moderate, we'll just call it moderate rain here and some heavy pockets here, basically extending from Fayetteville to Shelbyville to Lynchburg, through Coffee County into Warren County. And then we also have some other pop-up thunder showers, basically running from Dalton and Chatsworth all the way up through Ringgold, and then up I-75 from just north of Cleveland around the Hopewell community up to about Calhoun, Riceville, Athens, and Sweetwater, and out to Tellico Plains. So again, that's kind of an overview of some things here. And one thing to note here is when you have a very sharp gradient here between green and red like this, on that leading edge of that is typically where you will find those stronger wind gusts. It could be again 40 to 50 miles an hour. Now, the one thing I want to note here is that severe level wind gusts do not start until 58 miles per hour. So these are below severe levels. The 58-mile-per-hour wind gust that was recorded in Scottsboro earlier, about an hour ago, when this came through there, was a part of the reason why the warning was prompted for that area, along with the report of power lines down and outages and such. So that's, again, in order to have a severe thunderstorm, it has to meet certain criteria, and one of those criteria is 58 mile per hour wind gusts or greater, and we are falling a good 10 to 20 miles per hour below that. So again, these are pretty much what you would call garden variety spring thunderstorms. They're a little loud, they're a little noisy. They got some lightning, got some thunder, got some very heavy downpours with them, but at least for the most part right now, they are behaving. So what I will do here, since while I'm on here, let's give some estimated times of arrival here. So we'll start with this, and we'll make sure that's working here. So let me make sure I get the right speed real quick. And this is moving northeast at 45, so we'll put that on the leading edge of that. And I will have to edit that speed there probably more than likely here in just a little bit. So we'll track that, and it's already automatically updated. So downtown Chattanooga, this will be in your area around midnight. Now, I want to note these times are in Central Time, so considering this is moving from the Central Time Zone into the Eastern Time Zone, add 1 hour to this. So, for example, downtown Chattanooga, pretty much about midnight. Red Bank area, about 12:05. And what I can also do is I can zoom in a little more and get you a few more communities. Pineville area, right there along Pineville Road near Baylor, also at about midnight. North Shore area at about midnight as well. And then going down the list here, going down towards Lupton City there, as you get towards Hickson at 12:06. Hickson area itself around 12:10. For you guys, Marina Cove also around that same time. This also includes Middle Valley. So Middle Valley, you're looking at about 12:15, as well as Harrison. And then a Lakeside, you'll be looking at this around 12:20 as well. Riverside Park there around 12:05. And then points off to the east from there. Let's see how many more we get up in here, and I think that is it. So again, that's the track on this portion of the line here as it moves across the metro area. Again, this is pretty much going to affect all of Hamilton County, and then this end right back in here is going to affect Marion County, but this is much weaker out here to the west. So let's get a movement on this to the south and maybe get you some timing on this southern end. This one's moving a little bit faster at 50, so I'll have to probably do a couple of separate tracks here considering the motion of it's pretty much due north-northeast. So let me make sure I got my bearings there on that real quick just so I don't make an accidental mistake on that. So that's moving off to the northeast also at about 50 miles an hour. So that's going to head up towards Lafayette here in short order. So let me remove that there and correct that. And we'll go out here towards Tunnel Hill and also Dalton here to give y'all a heads up. Again, this will be in the Lafayette area around 12:04, about 12:22 for Tunnel Hill and Ringgold, and then 12:24 for the Dalton area. And then I'll zoom in and get you a few more in here. Again, Marsh Crossing about 12:02, Noble about 12:09, and this will also be around Rock Spring around that same time. And then you get up into the Ringgold area. Again, Rocky Face around 12:22, as well as Ringgold and Tunnel Hill. Trickham Community about 12:18, and then Mount Pisgah around 12:16. So that's for that portion right there. So again, Fordo, this is going to be on your doorstep here pretty soon. Fairview out towards Flintstone, Chattanooga Valley area, down towards the battlefield. Chickamauga down towards Cooper Heights. This is pretty much moving into your area as we speak. If it's not arrived there, it'll be there within the next 5 to 10 minutes. So the good thing here is this is moving fairly quickly. So it'll be one of those quick in and outers. So it is moving fairly quickly at about 45 to 50 miles an hour. And so far it's been non-severe. So that also helps things quite a bit too on that scope of things. So again, reading through some of your reports. Just thunder here in Trenton now and Wi-Fi is down. Jackson County EMA has reported 6 to 8 lines down in Scottsboro, and Scottsboro Electric is reporting roughly 687 customers are without power. Thank you for reporting that. Let's see here. Bridgeport, yes, Bridgeport is clear. Sparta, this is not going to affect you. This is staying well south of you. You'll get rain, but you're not going to get this. Is the rain that's heading toward Tullahoma severe? Thankfully, no. Highway 58 area, this is heading up in your direction. North of Chattanooga, once you get up here north of town, up towards Pikeville, Dayton, Decatur, Athens, you get up that way, you will be getting this heavy rain and thunderstorm activity again within the next hour or so. Shouldn't be severe, but you'll definitely hear the rain here as we get into the overnight here. Let's see here, see if I'm not missing anything. Again, as I'll answer this one question as I did earlier. Is there anything to worry about since you're alive? No, I'm just on here since we got some of these advisories that are in effect, and just to put some minds here at ease, just to let you know that hey, things are good, but again, just wanted to make sure we catch anything. No tornado activity. A lot of wind and rising fawn, and Flat Rock is clear. Yes, Flat Rock is good. As far as the strong thunderstorm is concerned, this is past to the east, but more rain will be moving in as we get into the overnight. So, but as far as a threat of a strong or severe thunderstorm is concerned, Sand Mountain, Northeast Alabama, y'all are in the clear from that. So, Cherokee County, Alabama, raining hard, thundering, lightning in the Blanche, Jamestown community. Cleveland. So again, Squatchy County, Cagle Mountain. So a lot again. Thank you all for tuning in. Nothing for Colmont other than just rain and maybe some thunder. The one to the west of Tullahoma, that's just heavy rain out that way towards Lynchburg and Fayetteville. So no worries there. Just some good soaking rain. And really, for the most part, what all this is here, for the good majority of us, this is just going to be a good soaking rain, as I've been saying for the last few days. And that still is true. It's just that sometimes, and sometimes some little surprises can happen here, and you can get a stray severe thunderstorm that pops up out of the blue. And considering how healthy this little line segment was as it was coming up through northeast Alabama, it honestly doesn't really surprise me that it did for a few minutes turn severe because of its structure. But as far as and you got to remember earlier this evening, of course, the Storm Prediction Center removed us from that marginal risk. And again, sometimes though that changes can happen, and what tends to happen also in northeast Alabama is because you have that elevation difference and everything else. Sometimes that can actually work in a storm's favor even with limited instability. That elevation change and everything can actually help strengthen thunderstorms. And we've seen that time and time again with, when they've had tornadoes on Sand Mountain. And as you know, Sand Mountain's one of the most tornado prone, probably the most tornado prone area, at least in our area, because of those changes and such. But the good thing here is that we are not looking at any kind of tornadic activity. I want to stress that point. So there's no worry about that. And really, for the most part, I'll be very surprised if we get any additional warnings going forward. I really feel right now that as I look at the wind field here, and I'll check that out, I mean, we're getting some bright red in here, and what that indicates is is indicating some strong straight line wind. But if you look closely here in the middle, and that print may be kind of small, but you see here it's indicating a gust of about 42, 43 miles an hour there on Lookout Mountain, just under 3,000 feet off the ground. So that's subtracted as you go towards the surface. So that's probably somewhere 30 to 35 at the surface. So again, pretty much rule of thumb, 30, 40 mile an hour wind gusts. Nothing crazy. It'll be a little loud, but nothing big. Again, some pretty good rain falling from pretty much right about the lake. So basically from Loves up through Jasper, up 41 to Foster Falls, moving into Little Squatchy and heading up 28. So those of you in Whitwell and Crossroads and also Griffith Creek, you're going to get some heavy downpours here pretty soon. Probably a little bit of thunder, but I've not seen any new lightning as of recent. So that's some encouraging news there. So, but again, like I said, this is going to be a good soaking for you guys. Again, and then Collegedale and Appleton and Ooltewah, you got a downpour over you, being indicated by radar, but it's nothing severe. again, you see kind of the way this line kind of arcs out here in a way, and I'll draw that on this map. You can kind of see how it bends, and when you get that bend, especially on this northern apex of that line right up in here, the part that's moving into downtown, that's going to be the zone where you have those gustier winds. And yeah, you can have gusty winds farther south, but typically the further south you go, unless it gets kind of intense to the south, but I haven't seen that yet. But typically the further south you go, it does lessen just a little bit, and this northern end typically ends up being a little bit more stronger. But in this case, at least the stronger thunderstorm action itself is a little bit south, but it's really kind of evenly spaced though along this line. But so far below severe levels, the pink that you're seeing on this map, the pink is indicating some possibility of some pea-sized hail again. Really, for the most part, that'd be pretty isolated if there were to be hail. I mean, mostly pea size, as what the Weather Service and such have been saying. So I agree with that because there could be an isolated hailstone embedded in here that may get up maybe up to penny, but really for the most part, this is heavy rain, some gusty wind on the leading edge, some lightning. I mean, really about it, and maybe heavier pockets here along this leading edge and just behind it. There could be a little bit of some pea-sized hail, but nothing big, nothing damaging, none of that. So as I said a few minutes ago, garden variety spring thunderstorms. In other words, we need the rain. We're getting the rain, and that's the best thing about it. We're going to have more and more waves moving through during the overnight. In fact, as I zoom out here, I'll show you that we got a pretty good large batch of heavy rain and some thunderstorms moving over the Birmingham, Coleman, Alabama areas, and that's heading northeast in our direction. So we will likely get at least some of that during the overnight hours here after midnight as this moves in. So all this you see out here to the west and southwest will rotate kind of in. I should say move in during the overnight. Again, we don't have any tornadic issues, but this will be mostly just good soaking rain that moves through, and then by the time we get to about roughly mid-morning, especially after sunrise on Easter, things will improve, rain moves out, and hopefully in the afternoon we can, tomorrow for Easter, hopefully we can manage to get some sunshine, but again, I can't promise that, but hopefully we can manage to get those clouds broken up enough to maybe get some peaks of it. But again, right now, at the most importantly right now, downtown Chattanooga is basically getting hammered with some very heavy rain, and this is about to move into Signal and Red Bank as well. East Ridge, you're about to get in on this. Rossville's pretty much in the middle of it. Fort O, it's almost at your door. It'll be there probably within the next 5 minutes. Chickamauga, that's pretty much moving in now. Lafayette, you got about 5-10 more minutes before this moves in. And then not to forget about those of you that follow me in Chattooga County. I have a few followers there as well. Somerville and Tryon, you'll also be getting some heavy downpours and all that. Not to forget about those of you in Dalton and Chatsworth, but you got some rain over there as well. And this heavy cell here that's over Collegedale is producing some good rain, is heading up towards the Cleveland area. So it's going to pretty much follow Highway 11 here and Highway and there's pretty much follow that road all the way up through into the Cleveland area, and it points north from there. And rain pretty much stretches here right along I-75 from Paul Huff Parkway all the way up Charlesville, Athens, Nyota, Sweetwater. So anybody that's got travel plans tonight, just be very careful out there. I know we have truckers, we have people that do travel overnight, so definitely be very careful out there. Lights on, anything that you need. Just take it slow when you're running into some heavier rain, and especially at nighttime, adds another extra hazard considering it's nighttime and it's a little harder to see. So yeah, make sure those lights are on, those wipers are working well, and be very careful in these areas where there's heavy rain falling. And now I will say, in case anybody's wondering, will this rain put a dent to the drought? It won't put it into the drought, okay? Unfortunately, it's not going to do enough to put an end to it. It will put a temporary dent in it. And the reason why I say temporary is because we're going to enter another drier spell after we get through with all this rain over the next 10 to 12 hours or so. Once we get through all this, it's going to be drier for at least the next week, 7-10 days ish. So, and I really don't. I mean, I really don't see another chance for organized rain or anything like that until about mid to late month. So we're going to enter another drier stretch after this. So hopefully, we'll be able to take advantage of this opportunity tonight, get everybody a good soaking, allow that time for that water to soak into the soils enough to cut down on the severity of the drought and keep fire danger very low. But that risk will probably, I think, increase as we get towards next weekend with the drier weather moving in. Notice some new downpours popped up over Winchester as of recent, Winchester and Decker, but that's non-severe at the moment. Just saw that viewers joined in from Tryon. You guys will be getting in on this here in the next roughly 5, 10, 15 minutes or so. You'll be getting in on some heavy rain there shortly. And again, this line goes pretty much all the way up through Walker County and into southern Hamilton County. And so basically runs from about, at least right now as of this image, it runs from Signal all the way down through downtown Chattanooga, down Rossville Boulevard into Walker County, down into Chattooga County, and also Cherokee County, Alabama. I've got a few followers there that watch. And just so I'm not forgetting you guys up here towards the upper Cumberland, Spencer, a little bit of rain there. Things are lighter in McMinnville. There we go. I don't know why it didn't pop up on the map there, but McMinnville, you guys are kind of in a break in between the rain, but you got more coming in from the south. Again, some brief pockets of downpours there in northern Grundy County, a good shower there near Tracy City. And then again, here's more heavy rain activity that's going to be moving up from the Birmingham area over the next few hours. And some of that's already leaking into Albertville and areas of Marshall County and also southern DeKalb County in Alabama too. So this next wave is already beginning to encroach on those areas. And again, here's a new radar scan. Looks like we're getting maybe some pea-sized hail here being indicated here, moving over the North Shore and into the south side of Red Bank at the moment, and all the way down to maybe about Erlanger, the Ridge, kind of that area is where there's a little bit of pink. And again, the pink on this map you see here, that's an indication maybe a little bit of hail, small hail, as I said, about pea size, and then that's moving to the north and east, and that's moving pretty much right up Amnicola and heading up towards the 1-3 corridor. We'll be heading towards Volkswagen, Hamilton Place, and towards Harrison and Hickson here within the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. And as I said, it's moving northeast here fairly quickly. It's moving at about 40, 45, 50 miles an hour on average. Depends on what part of the line you're looking at here. Again, also Whitwell, you guys are now getting in on this heavy downpour here. I'm also getting quite a heavy downpour at my place. You can hear it in the background, but I can hear some rain on my roof as well. So we're pretty much all getting in on this rain. And if you haven't yet, be patient. The rain's coming your way. I know those of you up here to the north and east, like in Dayton and Spring City, Evansville, Decatur, you guys haven't really, Sale Creek even, you guys haven't seen as much, hardly much today, or at least all day, but you will be getting in on this as we go deeper into the night and into the overnight. And same with Crossville and other areas too. And I'll tell you this, Crossville's been the big winner so far this week on the rain. The airport there a few days ago recorded a little over, I think, about 3 inches. I have to double check that, but they recorded about 3 inches in like a 24-hour period up there a few days ago with some of the pop-up storms that we had. So Crossville's been getting a little bit of a break here, but they will also be, you guys up there will also be seeing more rain moving up into that area very soon within the next hour or two. So again, all areas are going to get rain. All areas are going to get some good rain, at least. I mean, rain amounts are probably looking at between about a ½ inch to 1.5 inches in most areas. Some locations may overachieve a little, maybe get up to 2 if we get some draining or anything, but really for the most part, the overall average from this event here tonight into early tomorrow morning is going to be mostly from about a ½ inch to 1.5 inches. Now, there could be a few places that don't get as much, and that's been getting hinted at in the modeling. So I wouldn't rule out some places underachieving, but for the most part, though, I do believe that the majority of us will get a good soaking here going to the overnight, especially as this front gets a little bit closer. And the front, not sure if I can get it to work, get that to pop up on here, but and I probably won't be able to, but that's okay if that's the case. Oh, there it is. There we go. Again, the front is all the way back here. So here's the location of it. You might be able to tell right here where this L is and where this blue line is. That's the front. And this right here ahead of it, this little orange line, your dash line, that's the trough. So these rain and thunderstorms are falling northeast along that trough ahead of this front. So the front will eventually force all this out as we go into the morning, especially once we get to and just after sunrise on Easter. And I do want to make a quick note, speaking of Easter, I do want to make a quick note that Coolidge Park in Chattanooga has canceled its Easter festivities. So just a quick heads up there if you haven't seen that yet. So Coolidge, as far as I haven't heard of any other places that have canceled anything or at least postponed to maybe later in the day or anything like that. But so the only one I know of right now is that Coolidge Park has canceled their Easter egg hunt and festivities because of the wet weather and all that. Even though the rain will be moving out during the morning, the conditions, the wet conditions, have caused that to be canceled. Now I just got in a new advisory here. This is going to be another extension here, and it does include the western end of Whitfield County. But let me make sure I get that information there. This goes that next 35 minutes. A line of strong thunderstorms was located along a line extending from Rossville to near Tryon, moving northeast at 30. So this is going to be a strong thunderstorm that will impact west central Whitfield, Catoosa, eastern Walker, and north central Chattooga counties through 12:45. Raining hard. Just started raining in Hickson, raining in Fort O. You said it's right at your door. Immediately just started now in Dunlap. Yes, Athens, you will be getting this rain that's moving up from the metro area. In fact, you're actually getting some rain out ahead of it now. If it hasn't arrived in your neighborhood, it will very soon. But yeah, you'll be getting some rain up there. Oneida's technically outside of my coverage area, but you're going to get rain too. Yes, good to go to sleep in Chatsworth. Stormy and McDonald. Hello from Tryon. Let's see here. Raining in Fort O, just started raining in Hickson. So just reading through some reports as well. And again, the front you see back here is to the west, and I'll take that off just so it doesn't clutter up my image, the image here. But again, we got a good ways to go here. We got all this back out here to the west that's going to eventually move in as we go into the overnight here, and don't expect anything really severe out of it. I mean, there's really nothing severe. There's some lightning embedded, but nothing really big. Got a new advisory here that just got posted. This is going to be for Bradley County and Hamilton County. So let me get that information real quick for you, as that is just coming in. Strong thunderstorms will impact southwest Bradley, southwest Meigs, and southeastern Hamilton counties through 1 a.m. Eastern. At 12:11, Doppler radar was indicating strong thunderstorms located over Chattanooga, moving northeast at 35. Hazard is wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour and pea-sized hail. It is radar indicated. Locations that are in the path of this include Chattanooga, Cleveland, Soddy Daisy, Walden, Lakeside, Signal, South Cleveland, Harrison, East Cleveland, Wildwood Lake, and Red Bank. Those are the locations in the path of that. So that's a new advisory there for Hamilton, far southeastern Meigs, and pretty much most of Bradley County until 1 a.m. Now, I do want to stress these are not severe thunderstorm warnings. These are what we call special weather statements. These are a precursor to a warning, but it's a level below. Severe level winds start at 58 miles an hour. So just want to point that out. And so far, and I'll double check the velocities here to make sure that we're staying below that. And yeah, not seeing anything that resembles that. That's a 48 right there, right around Amnicola and 153. But again, that's about 3,500 feet off the ground. So again, that's probably reduced towards the surface at about 30 to 40. So Again, we're staying as long as these winds here stay below severe levels, we will be good. And as I said, I really don't anticipate anything else from the severe weather side of things here during the overnight here. And hopefully, this weak trend will continue. Again, quite a bit of lightning, a good amount of rain. Um, Not really all that concerned about flash flooding, considering we've been in drought. So that's good. There may be some ponding on in those typical low-lying areas that do when we have heavy rain. You may have some ponding and some things, but nothing really dramatic though, as long as we don't get any training. But the good thing here is these are moving fairly quickly at about 45 to 50 miles an hour, so that does help mitigate any kind of flooding threat. So that's the good thing here. So at least this is moving, but in the meantime, at least it gives us a good soaking with more to come. Now, Jackson County, Scottsboro, Fort Payne, you're temporarily drying out for now, but you got more heavy rain moving in from the south and west. So you got more moderate to heavy rain that's going to be moving in. Good thing, though, this will not be near as intense as this line to your northeast was. So that's some good news there. So, again, you're dry for now, but you're going to get more rainfall as we get deeper into the overnight. And then up here to the west, Cannon County, Woodbury, down through Manchester, Tullahoma, Lynchburg. Some good soaking rain in here, moderate to heavy rain. Have not seen any lightning. Not seen anything really strong on the wind side either, so that's good. McMinnville's got a good shower there ongoing there. Right around Northcutt's Cove to Tarleton Valley there along the Warren County line, just north of Beersheba. There's a pretty good downpour there moving to the north, and that will probably impact areas up towards Highway 8, Welchland, and eventually up towards the Spencer area here within the next 30 minutes or so. So that's where that's going. Again, I'll put on the loop here so you can see the motion of where everything is moving. And it's moving pretty much from due southwest to due northeast pretty much. So basically due southwest to northeast. So in other words, again, moving northeast at about 40 to 50 miles an hour. And you get some additional downpours developing ahead of that are also moving at that same speed. And then there's the back edge right here. So the back edge is all the way out to about the Tennessee River and the Mississippi state line. So again, you got a good ways to go. But this should be getting out of here once we get by or just after sunrise on Easter tomorrow morning. So again, this heavy cell here I'm watching is moving over the north side of Whitwell, and moving up York Highway there from Crossroads, and moving up also top Suck Creek Mountain there. Nothing severe with that, but you're getting a pretty good downpour there in those areas. And this is heading up towards 127, so where that little overlook is, as you look out over Squatchy County there, you got a good downpour in that way. And let's see if this is going to head towards Dunlap by any means. And this one looks like it's going to stay maybe just south of at least downtown, but you're already getting rain. But it looks like the heaviest part of this should stay just south of the downtown area. But this will probably track up East Valley Road and head out towards Lewis Chapel and also out towards Flat Top Mountain and that area. But you could get clipped on the northern end by at least the moderate to a little bit of a heavy rain side of that. But the heaviest should stay just, and I mean just, to your south and stay up there on the mountain. Again, here's some of the two most areas right now where we have strong thunderstorms at the moment. Again, this is really the only area that has any kind of advisory on it right now. It runs from basically Lafayette, so basically right up Highway 27. So this is running right along 27 in North Georgia here in Walker, Catoosa counties. So Fort O's getting it right now, Lake Winnie's getting it, and then down through Chickamauga into Rock Spring, now moving into the Ringgold area, and pretty much here. And now the Ringgold addresses go pretty far west here, so it's pretty much moving into the Ringgold area now, just not quite the downtown yet. So give it about maybe 5 to 10 more minutes, and this will be into downtown Ringgold. And then eventually from there, it's going to move into Whitfield County. And then again, Cleveland, you're getting a good downpour right ahead of this. Now, this is the part right here that's not warned on. So the downpour that you're getting in Cleveland and also up in Charleston is not part of what's being advised on for gusty winds. This part you see back out here towards Highway 153 and Hickson and such, where you got a little bit of darker red and a little bit of pink in here. That's what's being advised on back in here for gusty winds as that moves northeast right up I-75 in your direction. So this is the part that's the advised portion. This out here ahead is not. This is just a good downpour here, and that extends all the way up into Athens and Nyota and just west of Etowah. Again, the Tanga community as well as Old Fort, Ballplay, Polk County, getting some good rainfall. Eton, Chatsworth, you guys are also getting some good rain. And new update down here to the south, Marshall County, so Gunnersville, Albertville, Boaz, getting some heavy rain now from this second wave that's moving up. It also extends to just south of Fort Payne towards Collinsville. Again, I'm also broadcasting this live on my YouTube channel as well. Same name, Chase Bryant Weather there as well. So there's two different ways that you can see this. So I always have both the Facebook and the YouTubes on, just so that we get both out there. So that way there's multiple ways that you can be able to view any kind of live weather update and all that. And it's good to always have multiple outlets to have for during any kind of weather situation, low end, high end, and all that. So you can also see this, and you can also subscribe for free to my YouTube channel. I have all that set up. You don't have to pay a dime for that. So you can subscribe for free there at Chase Bryant Weather and turn notifications on. You can be able to see live videos and such. Raining in Saudi Daisy. Yes, Dunlap is okay. Just some rain there. Good to go to sleep in Chickamauga. Yes. Yes. Everybody's good to go to sleep. It's heavy rain on the upper end of Whitwell. Raining in Piney. Yes, good to go to sleep in Chatsworth. As much as I don't want to say completely zero tornado risk, this is actually one of those rare instances that I can say that. So tornado threat is pretty much practically zero with this. Don't expect any issues with that. Again, just some rain, and maybe a little bit of thunder in Dunlap. McMinnville, yeah, you guys will get rain. You guys will get it too. Raining hard and thundering in Red Bank. Raining in Pelham. Trenton, the worst of this is to your east, but you're going to get more rain and perhaps some thunder here going into the overnight. Raining on Whitwell Mountain. Wow, I hear thunder. Almost forgot what it sounds like. Yeah, I mean, I know it's been a while. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't even remember the last time we had rain. It's been that long. But it's a welcome sight to see, I will say. Definitely a welcome sight to see, to hear some thunder and the rain. Thundering in Saudi, Monteagle and Tracy City, just rain there. You'll be getting more rain overnight. Saudi, again, you got rain, but nothing severe. Raining in Fort O. So those are some additional questions there. Etowah, you'll be getting in on the rain that's coming in from Polk County and also Bradley County here very soon, within the next 20 minutes or so. Yes, you are good. I mean, I know it's a little messy out there considering, the ground's getting wet and all that for camping, but considering there is a risk for lightning, that depends on where you're staying. I mean, you'll probably be fine if you're in a car or an RV, but if you're out there in a tent or something, especially if there's lightning, just out of precaution, I wouldn't do that. Starting to rain here in Dunlap. Not a drop of rain yet in Pikeville. That will change though. Within about the next half hour to an hour, that will change because this rain down in here from Dunlap and south is pretty much moving right up the valley. So you guys will be getting rain in Pikeville soon. Raining in Saudi Daisy. Swanee. Nothing big there. Just some light rain now, but you're going to have more rain moving in as we go deeper into the overnight. Yeah, there's more rain, but I wouldn't necessarily say a big storm or anything coming from Huntsville to Sand Mountain. But this is more of a just some rain and thunder out here to the west. What's it looking like for Gatlinburg area? I'm not Tri Cities. I'm actually for the Chattanooga area, but for Gatlinburg area, you guys will be getting in on some heavy rain and thunderstorms as well as we get deeper into the overnight and early morning hours, but shouldn't be severe up that way. Alrighty, here let's get a quick update here on this little line here. See what the winds are looking like on this, just to make sure we don't have anything crazy moving across Walker County, Catoosa, or Hamilton, and I'll query some of the estimated winds, and these have come down quite a bit. So again, running at say about 30 to 40, but again, the intensities here have really come down a good bit. So that's the good news. Again, when you got the brighter red on here, that indicates a gusty wind. But again, the strongest gust I've seen on here that's over 3,000 feet off the ground at 47. That's the strongest one I've seen so far, and that's still a good 11 miles below the severe threshold. So we're still running good there on that end of things. And then that's moving up towards Cleveland, so heads up that way. And then Ringgold, this is pretty much moving in as we speak right now at this time. And this southern part down here is really falling apart a good bit as you get down towards Lafayette and towards Villanelle and points east from there. That's come down quite a bit too, so just some rain down there. And again, this whole cluster has really shown signs of weakening here over the last little bit. As I said, I really doubt we'll, as I said earlier, I don't really think we'll have any more severe thunderstorm issues here overnight. I think that one warning that we had in Jackson County and northern DeKalb County there from Scottsboro up, that one was probably the only one. I'm gonna say that's probably gonna end up being the only one that ended up doing anything. But as far as I know, I haven't heard anything new from that area as of yet, as far as like damage or anything. But what I do know from what I've gathered up here is there are power outages, some power lines down, and there was a 58-mile-an-hour wind gust recorded in Scottsboro just after 10 p.m. or so this evening. But as far so no injuries, none of that, thankfully. But that was a pretty gnarly storm, and this weakening line you see here, that's basically halfway between Chattanooga and Cleveland now, moving over Ottawa and Ringgold. That's the same complex that gave Jackson County those damaging winds a little over about an hour ago or so. And ever since, that's moved off to the north and east fairly quickly, and it's also diminishing in intensity quite a bit, so that's good. Yes, Dalton is good. So yeah, Dalton, y'all are good to go to bed. Again, all areas are good to go to bed, so that's the good thing with this. No need to worry. And actually, considering we don't have anything big ongoing here, I'm going to sign off here in about 4 minutes, right at 11:30 Central, 12:30 a.m. Eastern, considering we don't have anything severe ongoing and all that stuff. So I'll sign off here in about 4 minutes. So let's go ahead, and what I'll do here before we do that, I do want to kind of time this out so that way we get kind of a look for the overnight here. So I've started out here at midnight, so I've skipped this run to midnight. And as you see, this is mapping it out pretty decently. It's overdoing the intensity of south and west a little bit, but it kind of gives you a bit of a general idea here. So this is about midnight tonight again. More waves of heavy rain and some thunderstorms moving through. Again, that's going to continue right on through the overnight. There's 1, 2 a.m. Again, more heavy rain, moderate to heavy rain moving through. So those of you that have not gotten rain up in Bledsoe County, Cumberland, or Ray or Meigs, you will be getting on this as we get deeper into the overnight. So even though you haven't got anything up in here, especially around Dayton and Pikeville and north and northeast, you will be getting rain overnight. And that rain will continue through the early morning. Here's about sunrise on Easter. I went ahead and skipped to that. As you see, rain's ending from west to east as we progress through the morning. We'll start wet. We'll probably start wet. And then as the day progresses, that rain will clear out. So there's 8 a.m., And then with time as the day progresses, we should see things clearing out from the rain side of things. Hopefully, get some peaks and sunshine by afternoon, hopefully. And it'll be a much chillier day. I do want to give a quick heads up there. It's going to be a little. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a little chillier tomorrow. Temperatures will start out in the 40s and 50s depending on your elevation. So it'll be a far cry from the 80s and 70s we've been having. And temperatures will try to warm depending on the clouds. So if the clouds hang around long, we'll stay cooler. But if the sun can break out, heat it up a little bit, we'll probably get up into the low to mid 60s. Higher elevations, you probably will only make it to the 50s. So Easter's going to be a lot cooler, a little breezy, but drier. And I do want to make this quick mention here because I'm going to sign off here in 1 minute after I do this in a quick radar overview. I do want to quickly mention that early Monday morning, for those of you in the higher elevations, specifically like Signal, Grundy County, Van Buren, Crossville, even Lookout, you may have some patchy frost as temperatures drop into the mid to upper 30s where you are in those higher elevations. So it won't be widespread frost, but there could be some patchy frost. So if you have plants or anything outside, you might want to bring that in or at least cover them up to a good deal so that way they don't get frost or anything on it. Now, it's not a damaging freeze or anything like that, but when you have temperatures that do dip below 40, you kind of have to watch for a little bit of frost. So that's something to keep in mind for the higher elevations going into Monday morning. Valley, you'll be fine for the most part as far as plants and stuff. But yeah, just a quick little heads up there. All right, quick radar overview, and then I will sign off here. So we still got this one advisory that runs in effect for Hamilton and Bradley in far southwest Megs for the next 30 minutes. That's for 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and I think we could kind of scratch the hail threat at least off, other than maybe some isolated pea-sized hail in a few areas. Not going to be a big deal there. The main thing is going to be heavy downpours, gusty winds there. Again, that advisory expires at 1 a.m. for Hamilton and Bradley. We still got this area here from about Tryon, Somerville, up through Lafayette and Ringgold. That's the other advisory. Not quite including Dalton, but just west of there. That advisory also expires. And actually, this one expires in about 15 minutes for gusts up to 50, but that's really weakened quite a bit in the last few scans. And again, lastly, we got more rain moving in from the west and southwest. That's all going to be moving through during the overnight and early morning hours. So it's going to be a wet overnight. You'll probably hear the rain on your roof. Again, this is going to be some great sleeping weather here for the overnight, and that's a good thing. And I don't anticipate any severe weather issues as we go through the overnight here. So with that said here, since we don't have anything severe or anything life-threatening happening with the storms, these are just right now, let me rephrase that. Considering we don't have any life-threatening storms or anything severe at this time, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. These are just your typical garden variety April thunderstorms with the heavy downpours, some lightning, some gusty winds, and some heavier cells. But again, the severe threat I feel has really dropped off significantly, and it's been very low, but I do think it is really dropped off now. So with that said, I hope you guys have a great overnight, sleep well, and I will see you guys with more updates here over the coming hours and, of course, tomorrow.